selfish, who just like use this as a victimization tool. It is like exactly if Muslims saw people from ISIS and Qaeda suddenly hijacking our religion, but
Hello?
now they have money and power to actually make this the mainstream. And a lot of my Jewish friends are feel that they're silenced, they're sidelined. We have seen a lot of like Jewish artists, directors, and actresses and actors. They go on and they speak up, and you see what happens. They're being called an anti-Semite the next day. One of my closest friend, Matt Lieb, he's a comedian. He's a stand-up comedian. He has like a whole show called Bad Hasbara, and he just talks about like the Hasbara techniques. He told me that at the age of 26, he was like a raging liberal Zionist, and he went on a birthright trip to Israel. And then the one thing that he flipped him, he said, like, we were like a bunch of 20 years old, and then we find that the main speaker in our event was Benjamin Netanyahu, accompanied by Miriam Edelson. It's like, wait a minute, this is too much effort. This is too much effort to get this in. And then he went back and he started to read more. And he's like completely now, he's an anti-Zionist Jew. And there's many of these people, and I feel so bad that they have to, it just, they can't help it that not to take many of this on themselves. That all of these stuff that those Zionist people do kind of reflect on the whole community, but there are so many people who are just like sick and tired of being grouped with those psychopaths.
Because that's what I'm saying. It's not a religion. It's a political philosophy, and that's why it's.
I
so
got
important to
coffee ice
separate
cream
it. Like,
this time,
Zionists are
and I
just
put
tried and true psychopaths.
tiny little
There's no
chocolate
way to
chips
look at
in
what
there.
happened in Gaza, to look out at what they did, how they told us they were going to do it, talking about real estate deals. I mean, you got to pull this up, Skylar, when you get a second. Just some of the video footage of what Gaza looks like today, and then to look you in the face and feel nothing and say, no, that was necessary response to October 7. There's something wrong with you. And then when they can't train people to be inhumane alongside them, the viciousness with which they attack people for being human, that's why I say I can't wrap my head around it. I actually wonder what happened to these people when they were kids, because something inside of you has flipped. This is not like any person should have a humane response to seeing, humane response to seeing what they've done. This is, and that's not even, that's before. This is basically when they got started. I mean, they have raised this city, and
now there's nothing. There's nothing.
The blackmail, the Epstein stuff, the defense of Epstein, gaslighting us about Epstein, and you go, okay, it's literally, I don't care if you are Jewish, if you are Muslim, if you are Christian. I mean, obviously, I want you guys to all be Christian, but can we all unite to recognize that we have Satanists among us? Like, this is a satanic philosophy that you have to be worshiping death to be okay with.
I have a question for you as a Christian, because we just talked about a small group of people hijacking a whole faith, which is Judaism, and now similarly you have all of these evangelical Zionists, people who go to Israel and come back, and they just like brainwash their followers in the church, and when I look at videos where inside the church, the only flag other than the American flag is the Israeli flag. And then there is a viral video clip from a documentary called Till Kingdom Comes. And the pastors are talking to the little kids. They say, like, Jews are better than us. They are more special than us. They are not like us. I mean, you are a man of God, and now your mission is to tell your congregation that you are not special enough, that there's people from another religion that are more special than you, and we are just like you going and giving away your life saving to the church, only to have your kids listen to someone say like, hey guys, you're nothing. You're nobody, and there's other people who are more worthy than you to be holy. I don't know how that works.
This pad is so big, it's hitting my tailbone.
And I think for the first time, many people that are evangelical are waking up to that. And it's incredible to say that is in large part due to the Charlie Kirk assassination and us looking into the story, looking into the pastors that he surrounded himself with, and then we kind of looked into what this Calvary Chapel Church was. It's a military operation. I mean, this is literally
Jesus
a CIA
has been
operation.
passed away for
People like Rob
2026 years.
was one of the pastors at the
I
court
genuinely
because
don't
Charlie
think he
wasn't.
has much
Actually, Charlie,
awareness.
couldn't stand him toward the end, so that's another big lie that I Turning Point should come out and tell the truth about.
The irony is
But
you're like listening to what
his
I'm
father
listening
ran
to,
psychological operations for
right?
the Navy. This entire church, Calvary Chapel Church, is a CIA story. Okay, a place for hippies to go. Who do you think created hippie culture? I mean, I give people the books to read. You gotta read Chaos. It's a must read. Understanding what they accomplished in the 60s. LOL to anybody who thinks that suddenly a bunch of people just wanted to smoke pot and, leave their families and go play guitars out in the West. I mean, the 60s, that entire decade
And all of those
about
people
military
who were hippies
experimental
are
social
Jewish.
engineering.
And they're
social
they're
engineering
liberals
via things
today.
like the Manson
And they live
murders,
here still.
Social engineering via establishing churches. Everybody's welcome here. But what is the underlying goal? The underlying goal of many of these churches, too many of these churches, is to commit people to Israel by any means necessary, to believe that they will not be saved unless they worship Miriam Adelson and Bibi Netanyahu, which is wild. Miriam Adelson's money and wealth comes from debauchery. Debauchery. I mean, what are we talking about? They built Las Vegas.
And OnlyFans.
Godly.
I went through a rabbit hole watching a lot of these pastors talking to the congregation, and it shocked me how they talk down to their own Christian congregation and tell them how special Jewish people are. And it's okay that they're special Christians. It's okay that Israel, you cannot build a single church inside Israel. Because we know God told us all of that. God has told us that Israel will be so entrenched in sin, and it's a sign of the times, and it is our role to be next to them until God bring them back to the right path. And until that happens, it's okay to kill all of these people. It's okay to give all of your money to that entity, and if you don't bless Israel, you're going to be cursed. It is just like the mental gymnastics they use in order to bring their own people, their own Christian followers down, in order to be loyal, not to God, not to Christ, but to a political entity.
Right. No, it is upside down land, but I think it's being fixed and it's being corrected. And like I said, it's in large part due to people learning the pressure that Charlie was under. And this was a person who was evangelical. He was a Zionist. He truly, and I know that you have an opinion about Charlie and the stuff that he was doing, but I can tell you that Charlie was genuine. In the same way that I always say to people, I obviously regret that I worked inside of Zionist organizations. I regret my ignorance. I shouldn't say I regret that I worked there, because I actually believe that God put me there for a reason, because I had to see it from the inside, and I can give people now clarity on how these things work. But I regret that I was ignorant about what was happening in Gaza. And I think people should know that Charlie, me, we were genuine in our support for Israel, because we genuinely believe we were being told the truth by our friends.
Yes, and
that's the reality.
I have a couple of issues with Charlie. I mean, God rest his souls, and I hope that justice will be served to all of the people who've actually killed him. I do agree that he was kind of starting to wake up towards the end, because he started asking the question, especially on the PBD podcast. He said something that I said in the first appearance with Piers Morgan. I said, like, Israel is the size of New Jersey, and why would it take you 6 hours for a response while you can get there in a helicopter by 20 minutes? Yeah. And that's like a very simple question. But if you ask that, that's your anti-Semite. But and he asked other questions about the stand-down orders. He started talking about like the aid. He was coming from an America first point of view, which I respect. But my issues with Charlie were a couple of things. First of all, I think you already saw the video when I said he kind of falsely claimed that if you're a Jew going to like an Arab neighborhood in Jerusalem, you're going to be stabbed. And now I understand that this is what was told to you.
Oh, they take you on a tour.
And they brainwash you.
Yeah.
But the other two things that I again, he's now between the hands of his creator. But when he said close to his death, well, Muslims, they throw gay people out of high buildings. Now there's no high buildings in Gaza anymore, like stupid Muslims. And that hurt a lot of Muslims seeing that clip. That was it's a very, very, very terrible, because it's like, you have no buildings now to throw gay people out from above it. Stupid Muslims. And then the day before he died, he tweeted saying that Islam is the sword the left is using to slit America's throat. So he wasn't liking us more, and I understand that because maybe he will be on his own path if he was given the time.
Charlie didn't run his Twitter feed.
Yeah.
Andrew Colbert did. So I just want to say that
Okay.
he gave that up. But that is interesting. I don't remember him tweeting that, but he did think that the threat of Islam. He totally believed that.
Oh, yeah,
And he spoke about that
yeah.
several times. And so his.
But you, at a certain point, you also had very negative ideas about
Yeah.
Islam. I remember
did.
you saying
it's
that
a part of the
like,
package.
Yeah.
So it's like when you go, like I was saying on this tour to Israel, it's so weird to revisit it because I don't think I'm an idiot, but apparently I was just accepting everything that people that I thought were my friends and were Zionists were telling me because they're very good at playing the part like they are your friends and they want you to be good and they want you to avoid the traps, like they're guiding you and you're new to politics and let me try to very quickly so you understand what's happening, and here we are just trying to open an embassy. That's what me and Charlie were there for. Here we are just trying to open an embassy and like look at these terrible Muslims that are like throwing things at us and trying to murder people at the border, and you're going to be safe and we've got security for you to make sure of these terrible Muslims. So it's literally a psychological operation, and I want people to know that you have to separate the people that genuinely believe what they're saying versus people who are quite literally being given money and are defending psychopaths when it's very obvious. And I think October 7th, fast forwarding to where we are right now, with all of the information that's now out there, now that this debate has kind of arrived on the shores of America, meaning people are getting fired, excommunicated, being smeared, people that the information is accessible. And Charlie was changing. That's the reality. He just was. And they tried to bury this. And he said no. Here's an interesting fact. When Bibi went on a little mini tour and went on everyone's shows sometime in August, Charlie didn't let him on a show. Charlie said no to Bibi Netanyahu. When Bibi wanted to take Turning Point to the next level, Charlie said no. Okay, to Bibi Netanyahu, who is a gangster. You don't get to tell Bibi Netanyahu no. We all know this. And so I just want people to know the truth, which is that, and obviously I released text messages, they've left me no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause. Now, does that mean that he would have been like not eating up everything going on in Minnesota and still would have been working through things? Sure, of course he would have.
Yeah, he was looking at things through a certain lens, a very right-wing, very Christian nationalist lens. I understand it. And again, he was young. And maybe if he was given time, maybe he would have like crossed over to the other side like you and said, like, I believe that everything I said about, I don't know, it's a kind of a far-fetch, but
no,
maybe
we grew up with 9/11. That was the ultimate psychological operation. They made us stand up every day in school at 9/11, so we would never forget.
When they found the passport just like laying around.
But we were kids, right? Think about how young I was. So they know how to make an impression when you're a child and you're scared. When you don't know anything and you're scared, it's the perfect time to make an impression. We'll take care of you. We're going to make sure those evil Muslims don't come in the country. All you have to do is take off your shoes and your belts at the airport, and no more evil Muslims will get you. And you're like, okay, what do I have to do to comply with that? That's a psychological operation, and that's why when we even revealed yesterday, part of these Erica calls 5 days after her husband died, and she's appealing to Turning Point USA, the employees of it's okay, I'm gonna protect you. She uses this exact same strategy. I'm gonna protect you, your jobs are safe, we're a family now. After a trauma,
are you getting the stink
it's
bug?
trauma bonding.
Are you
It's a
gonna sketch a
trauma,
stink
and
bug?
you don't know what's happening, but I'm here to keep you safe.
Now work your ass off and bring me some money.
Charlie's with us in the office.
In the office.
Don't go home. She literally says he wouldn't want you at home sitting on your couch.
He's watching you as you are alone with your sock in your bed.
He's dancing in heaven when you are in the office.
Oh my God, I can't believe the truth of words. It's just this is
Where'd it go?
emotional blackmailing on steroids.
What do you think? What do you think about Erica Kirk?
Erica Kirk?
What do you think about Erica Kirk?
Would I get sued?
Throw it in the pile. Of course you will.
I don't want to say anything that's controversial. She did it, but I don't want. She was on it.
I don't want to get into.
I don't want to get into the.
I don't want to talk about it. She did it.
But I will never say anything negative about.
What do you think? I mean, just on the outside of this, looking in as someone who was not a fan of Charlie Kirk,
I'll tell you what I think.
I actually appreciate hearing that perspective more because I see my own biases going into it.
I wish I would have Erica Kirk's grieving power. She grieves like no other.
Yeah.
I wish I would have had that kind of composure, grieving the people that I love like that, because she gives hope to every one of us that it doesn't really matter.
And you know what's funny is they were using the same, going back to the psychological operations where they're telling us to like suspend rationality.
Oh, yeah.
And this is supernatural, and this is because like God is with her, and like I mean, even when she said to Jesse Waters that she didn't even need to take a sleeping pill, she didn't need to have a glass of wine, that she slept, she said she slept fine, and accepted that this is what God wanted so instantly. And there's something about that is Chat GBT Christianity, where it's like you're just gonna keep saying God wanted this. Like no, being Christian is we are flawed. We are not. Of course, you're going to contend with God. You're going to bargain with God. We don't get it right. Of course, you're going to ask questions. Why? Why did this have to happen? We're not perfect. We are not Jesus Christ.
What is bothering me even more than Erica Kirk is that, I mean, Erica is playing a part, but there's people who are supposed to serve the American people, like the director of the FBI, Mr. Kash Patel, who, even before he got into office, he said, America needs to wake up and prioritize Israel, which is a very weird thing to say.
He lives in Las Vegas
By an FBI director.
with a dude.
Oh, is that the honeypot? Oh, we should.
No, he doesn't live with her. She lives here.
Oh my God. Oh, she lives here and he lives with. Oh, I can't. He's the FBI director, and I don't know. I mean, I'm a new citizen here.
I'm just stating the facts.
But oh, Las Vegas, is this where the Israeli cybersecurity guy was also found out to be a pedophile, and then he was let go? You know what's so funny about this story? I'm sure that everybody knows here know this story. There's the head of the cybersecurity in Netanyahu's office. He comes to Las Vegas, and just to pass time, he was found with a minor, and it was a sting operation. But then he was allowed to leave. This happened in Nevada. You know what's the most important thing about this is that not a single media outlet reported that this ever happened. ABC, Fox News, CNBC, CNN, nothing. If you have a foreign country who's supposed to be your ally sending high security officers here, and they are not just once, many times, and they're involved in pedophile rings, and they're allowed to leave, but that's okay, because we need to talk about the Somalis in Minneapolis, we need to talk about the Arabs in Michigan. And then you have like the acting DA who happens to be an Israeli national, who let him go. And nobody talks about this. And this is how they brand you to be a conspiracy theorist. When you start talking about stuff that's not circulating in the media, you become part of the fringe.
Yeah.
If you're not into this, if it didn't happen in the mainstream media, that didn't happen. Anybody who repeats that is a psycho, is a conspiracy theorist, is a flat earther, what happened. But it is, and now this is what I found out about coming here to the United States. As someone who comes from the third world country where we are used to censorship, and we are used to, not telling the truth as it is. Here, nobody will hide the truth, but they will choose not to tell it, and they will tell other stuff and give it a bigger mind. So someone like Jay Klang or Tony Robinson, wherever they go and they start doing this agitation thing, they will find someone like Elon Musk with like tens of millions of followers tweeting it, and now becomes news. But they will never say anything about the other stuff. So everything that you are faced with in the news is that the stuff that they want you to see. They will not hide it. Okay, we have democracy, but we'll not talk about it. This is how they selectively push the narrative, like what happened October 7th. I call it shock and awe. You know how America went to Iraq and they used shock and awe, like extreme attack. They do this. So decapitated babies in orphans, pregnant women having their kids, and it has become so much of an emotional shock that if you start questioning it, it's like, how come you question babies getting decapitated? You're anti-Semitic. You don't like it. You don't care about babies. And this is how they pushed it, and becomes the news.
Yeah, I mean, that's Soviet propaganda, and this goes back to what I was saying about the Bolsheviks. I mean, one episode we were speaking about even the things that they told us about World War II and the things, and they panicked, and it was hilarious because in a couple of months later, Auschwitz Museum comes out and says, the stuff that was said about Dr. Joseph Mengele, a lot of it was made up. He never did these things. He was actually before all of this respected doctor. Auschwitz Museum put this on their website, and
they changed the number from 4 million to 1 million overnight.
I mean, there's been a lot of changes, but you're not allowed to know history or how the numbers changed. And I was grateful to sit down with Norm Finkelstein, and I asked him about that question, because he's like, my parents, one of his parents was in Auschwitz, and the other parent was, I'm blanking on which of the other camps they were in, and he said he acknowledges it. He's like, yeah, of course. He said, my parents told me some people were taking the tattoos off and some people were putting them on. People that I believe were laundering their names. I spoke to him about this.
Just let it go.
Making themselves victims, and they actually were the perpetrators of a lot of the crimes that were happening against Christians, mass murder of Christians, which we're not allowed to talk about. The number one victims of World War II were not Jews, it was Christians. And when you say that, they get so angry because they have worked so hard for decades to manipulate people in the classroom to believe that the only victims that have ever existed in history were Jews, and that's just on its face false, and it is a lie. And we have to do a better job of getting out the truth.
And by the way, I wouldn't even mind if that was the story.
Yeah.
But the fact that they used that in order to
How many
inflict
movies?
Holocaust on other people.
It's crazy.
Palestinians had nothing to do with, okay, Holocaust, 12 million Jews were killed. Whatever. Like, we didn't do that. The Palestinians weren't part of it. You were actually pushed onto them. And you would actually kill other Jews in order to prevent anything else from happening. You know the crisis of Patria? Patria was a ship that came from Europe that has 1,500 Jewish refugees, 1940s, and the port of Haifa. And then the Haganah, which is like is one of the Israeli, the Zionist gang, they blew it up because the British authorities wouldn't let it go, wouldn't let it dock, and they wanted to actually divert it to Mauritius.
Bitch,
So
get in
they
there.
bombed it, and I think like they killed 150 Jews, their own people. They didn't care about Jews being killed in Germany, by the way. They didn't care. They just used them as a bargaining chip in order to create Israel. So it's not really about being Jewish killed. They don't care. They don't really care.
Well,
It's the
because
same way like
people are
ISIS or
fighting are not
Qaeda. They don't
Jews.
care about Muslims dying.
These are Satanists. We're not fighting Jews, and I always make that point of going backward and looking at the actual guiding theology. I'm going to take a quick break and throw it to sponsors, but then I want to show them the clip of you on Piers Morgan, because I just think it was one of the best clips ever.
Oh, thank you.
All right, you guys, there's obviously a war on truth right now. You feel it, I feel it, and the biggest weapon that they have is the algorithm. Rewriting history and redefining morality to fit a broken secular agenda that has completely erased God from the conversation. That's why I use Magisterium AI, because this isn't just about the past, it's also about how to live right now. Talking about the toughest questions that you face, questions about suffering, marriage, and purpose in life. And unlike the other AIs that are out there, Magisterium AI actually brings the receipts, meaning every single answer is backed by original sources, citations that you can click and verify for yourself. I'm talking about 2,000 years of wisdom from the saints, popes, and fathers of the church. It's a knowledge base that grows daily from their exclusive digitized work inside the pontifical universities in Rome. It is the #1 Catholic answer engine in the world for a reason. If you want to discover the intellectual depth and the peace that I have found in the Catholic faith, start there. You can head to magisterium.com/Candace or download the app for free on iOS or Android. You can use my discount code Candace to upgrade to Pro, and you'll get 20.
Fuck am I doing?
All right, guys, I want to show you this clip. It's just incredible. We've kind of spliced it together here, but this is Bassem on Piers Morgan, the clip where he just uses humor. That's why we need the comedians, because they're brilliant and they have a way of delivering a point in a way that is not controversial, and it makes you go, what is wrong with us as a society? It's dark humor, and they are the best at it. Take a look at this.
The question is, what is a proportionate response? Because it has been different from one tier to another. So if you look to this graph, for example, this is the death of Israeli and Palestinians, and it's changing from 1 year to year. It's like fluctuating like crypto. So my question is today, what is the going rate today for human life? I mean, 2014 was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88 Israelis were died, and there was 2,329 Palestinians killed on the other side. That is one Israeli for 27 Palestinians. That is a very good exchange rate. What I'm saying is, what is the exchange rate for today? You guys will be happy. Hamas has absolutely no control in the West Bank, and this is the beginning of this year. Only through August, 37 Palestinian kids were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. Since the occupation of the West Bank, 7,000 Palestinians were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. This is the problem. Israel always victimizes itself, and I have never seen a victim putting their oppressor under siege and bombing them 24/7. Israel wants you to believe that they are the victim. Dealing with Israel is so difficult. It's like being in a relationship with a narcissistic psychopath. He you up, and then he makes you think it's your fault. I have two questions. The question is, how can you justify the killing in the West Bank where Hamas does not exist? And if the disproportionate response during over all of these years have actually worked, what will be new this time that did not happen before? I just want to that was my question.
I mean, it's brilliant. The chart. I mean, just looking at it and going, wait a second. There's no Hamas there. Why are we just killing Palestinians for fun? And it was just brilliant. It genuinely was. It was brilliant.
Well, they're continuing. Like the Gaza war never ended. The ceasefire never happened. They killed more children since the ceasefire, more than Israeli kids were killed since 1948.
Wow.
Can you imagine? In 3 weeks, they killed more children from the Palestinian side, more than Israeli kids were killed all through 75.
Do you know what I always say to people, and it astonishes me that they can't think through this. If you think just because it's happening over there, like you're going to agree with these people, you're going to back these people up, you're going to maybe take a check, $7,000, maybe $100,000 to attack people that are standing up and saying this is wrong. But you can't be so dense as to think that they won't kill you too. That's what my bug is. Like, you realize that when they want America, they'll kill your kids too.
Isn't that happening also? Yeah. I mean, isn't like ICE has been trained by the IDF? Isn't that the same tactics that's used by ICE and used by many of the police departments? They get trained. They're actually one of the ICE offices when they did like locations, like kind of, they found that the location of one of their field offices is in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
Why do we have ICE offices?
I think it was the Department of Homeland Security.
That's kind of a couple of months ago. The ICE is just like a recent 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So why are all of these American security entities are playing out from Tel Aviv? But the question is stupid because
We know
you
what.
have all of these billionaires, Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, Larry Ellison. They just like they have a weird affair with Israel. They openly donate to the IDF. They openly have their headquarters in Israel. They pump huge amount of money. They use their technology in order to kill more Palestinians, and they use Palestinians as rat labs in order to test these AI advanced horrible lethal weapons. It's terrible. And now America is using it. America now is invading the world. And I have to tell you, as a new immigrant in this country, I'm enjoying it. I'm for the first time, I'm on the side where history is happening to somewhere else. It is amazing. I'm telling you, I'm kind of getting used to this feeling of being in a country that can do whatever the hell it wants without consequences. It's a great feeling. It's amazing. I mean, I have this kind of, I don't know. It seems that people from the third world who came to country, their childhood trauma is now our country's foreign policy.
Sadly, and I just don't think people understand. You can't go halfway with a psychopath. And they don't feel anything. They kill people. If they kill a child, and then you defend that. Why do you think your kids are safe? I just don't understand the common sense of that.
I'm telling you, it is such a difference to live in a country like America that can invade half of the world and still host the Olympics.
I know.
They can go and invade your country, and then the next day it's like, I'm going to host the FIFA World Cup, and I'm going to deny your people the entry visa. That is like one huge boss level kind of control.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually happy that that's happening to Denmark, and then we're going to get Greenland, because now I know it's not about brown people.
Yeah, I don't even know what we're doing anymore. And I'm like, I got behind Trump. We're supposed to do no new wars, and then it's like Bibi's like, here's what you're going to do. Here's what you're going to do. Yeah. Obviously, look, he took Mary Madelson's money, and so I don't even pay attention to it anymore.
I'm just happy because now I know that America doesn't see color; it sees opportunity. It doesn't hate like Muslim people; it just hate underutilized land.
Well, I mean, clearly.
Do you think like America is now like the
but
word?
It's not even America.
America is like the HOA of the world. It's like we see that we cannot use it.
It's not true. I promise you, it is not America. We might have been brainwashed, but this is very clearly like an Israeli empire. And LBJ murdered JFK, got his boys in there, and took over our military. And everything else is just noise and Hollywood and manipulation. And now it's cracking. And now people are looking up and going, wait, why are we being so controlled? Why are our kids being led to believe that that they have to support Zionism? Why am I not allowed to make a decision about whether I think this or think that? The fake algorithm, pretending that people are popular when they're not. And so the mass awakening has them a bit panicked. They're making a lot of mistakes right now. Case in point, going after Miss Rachel seems like an unbelievable mistake. But I do think the biggest threat to their empire is the awareness. And that's why they're like sloppy. Like, we're just going to buy TikTok. I don't think the money is the real power. The illusion, the trick was actually the illusion. We all believed they were the victims. We watched the movies. We were in the classroom. We bought into the 9/11 rhetoric. The danger for them is when all of a sudden they go 330 million people, if that's how many are in America now, wake up and go, wait a second, I actually think what you're doing is pretty horrific. What's their next move?
I'll tell you, American citizens now are waking up to the fact how easy it is to go from a first world country citizen to a third world country citizen. Because here's the difference. People in the developed world, in Africa and Asia and Latin America, we all know. We know the people in power, they're corrupt. We all the people in power, they are terrible. They have all kinds of bad things happening, but we cannot speak up because it's too dangerous. So we shut up, but everybody knows. In America, everybody knows and everybody can talk. You can talk, but we dare you to change anything. So you vote, you talk, you protest, you go online, nobody will put you in jail, you feel like you participated, but the end result is nothing changes. They look at you and say, yes, Epstein files, yeah, there's victim, nothing will happen. You have evidence about Epstein, every single TV show, every single comedy show is making fun of it, but nothing's really moving forward. You see the difference? Yeah, I'm giving you this margin of liberty, but do you think you can do anything with the liberty? But what if Trump tomorrow decides he's going to run for a third term? What would happen? What, a federal judge will just like put some... What would happen? What, you're going to get the military to remove him from office? What will prevent them from
just doing it?
Putting, like, enforcing martial laws or starting to take your liberties. We have to, because the world has been desensitized by how much violence that happened in the Middle East, that now people are kind of like, they're desensitized. It can happen to us anytime now. And
Do you think that they're going to do it?
I mean, you said that what is the next thing? We have seen this, we've seen what they can do on the level of the universities, because like 3 years ago, you wouldn't even imagine that American university will be having the same treatment that we see in brutal dictatorship that would justify military intervention. We have seen people losing their jobs, losing their careers, being beaten, being arrested, being shot, having...
Burning Man is for
NYPD,
losers.
LAPDs having Israeli special operations
Rich people
officers
who
on
just
site
want to
with
throw
them.
their money away.
What would prevent them from doing that outside of a university campus? You see,
Rich people who want to pay a lot of money to be miserable for a weekend.
Because the moment that they lose control, when there's no more TikToks to buy, there's no more HBOs or CNN to buy, there's no more ways to put in them, you will find the system becoming more and more brutal.
You think so? So I would say they do seem to be becoming more brutal, but they're also becoming brutally stupid. Meaning that, okay, so the goal with having people go in there and, oh, we're going to drag you out, you're going to get out of the country because you said something against Israel, has just made my generation go, okay, we're not going to send our kids there. But the power wasn't us sending our kids there and then brainwashing our kids. Like, you actually need the kids there to believe in the illusion. So as soon as you start letting us know that there's actually no freedom and that these are actually little indoctrination centers that are being run by Israel, and we're now speaking to our kids coming up about what Israel is, you are fighting to lose the control that you have. Same thing with speech, right? As soon as Larry Ellison and all of them are out there like, we need to buy TikTok, do you think that made TikTokers pro-Israel or anti-Israel? Like, does it actually work long-term to say, well, we've got the power, okay, it's power versus the people. Do you think power wins, or are the people going to win?
But
1, 2, 3,
that's
4,
why
5.
I say we're going to be on the trajectory where it's going to be becoming more brutal, more stupid, until they completely lose control. I don't know how many years, but we're heading to that direction. Because here's the difference between third world countries and the Western countries. Because I was told this when I was growing up. It's like, oh my God, you're in the Middle East, you have all of these red lines, you cannot cross the red lines. And I come to here to the United States, like, it's true, you don't have any red lines, but you have 2 blue lines. You cannot cross these 2 blue lines. That's your only lines. So you can talk about the president, you can make fun of the president, about the Democrats, about the government, about the judge. Nothing is off limit. But when you cross these two blue lines with a little bit of star in the middle, this is where we get you. And now we know who has the power. So I think the more and more people are waking up, the more brutal that we're going to become, the more outspoken, more stupid, more blunt, in your face they're going to become. And then at a certain point, people will either give up, disenfranchise, or just people go underground, and you'll see a violent counterattack coming from the people.
Mm-hmm. I actually think you're right. I think you're absolutely right, because thinking about that, if they came out and they were like, oh, we're going to run Trump for a third term, or if they just came out and were like, you know what, you guys have no power, we're going to install Bibi Netanyahu as president of the United States, what would we actually do?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. Because people took for granted, oh, the president's going to be there for a couple of terms, and he's going to leave. What happens if he doesn't? Oh, the president cannot put me in jail because of my opinion. Now it's happening. People are being deported, being put in jail. People are losing government contracts. You have 37, 38 states that have laws that you cannot boycott Israel, which is crazy. That's actually, and that's a law.
Yeah.
So they're already doing that. And I asked the question in one of my videos, what will prevent them?
That's literally what I just said. What's going to stop them if nobody's going to do anything about it?
Anti-Israel voices in Europe. You know,
laws are great if someone does something about it. It's just like these people stalking me.
Sanctions on
You know,
sanctions
sure, great. Everything they're doing is illegal. Great.
When you sanction a person, and they
So, but now who's going to
couple
do
of
anything about the illegalness of it all?
They sanction the judge. Is
the police going to do something? The district attorney's going to do anything? Judges? Anybody? No?
Cannot have anything. Like, he cannot have money. He cannot buy a ticket. He cannot pay his own bills. He's just like a ghost. This is what happens when America sanctions a person in a foreign country. What prevents America from sanctioning you and just like wiping up your bank accounts, or deport or denaturalize you and then send you home, or put you in jail? What would prevent
So a
them?
couple of things I would say. I would push back and say, first and foremost, we're a big country.
Yes.
America's not like a little European country, big country. Also, our general attitude.
That's why it's hard for
is
us
very
to
different.
get together.
I remark whenever I go to the UK at how polite even like their protesters are. Like when I was being protested, when I was speaking at some UK campuses, me and Charlie, they were like very polite. They were like holding signs and were like, we would really like you not to be here. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. That was it. America's a little ratchet in those ways. America is a nation that they actually trained up for generations to always revolt. Like, I mean, we're constantly in
But
revolt
we
at all
won't
times.
because we're
And so
lazy
I'm not sure
and
that
glued
when they start showing
the
up
tube.
to doors, and we saw this recently down in Miami.
People don't want to be
where the police
uncomfortable. They're
officer
not
showed
going to
up,
go
was
do
like, "Did you
anything
send
that
this
requires
tweet?"
them to have to
I
poop in a
don't know that,
bucket
the country
or
that
drink
brought you
water
BLM riots
from
and
a shared
is going to be like,
community.
no, that's fine. Like, we're just going to be like knocking on
Pop.
people's doors, being like, here's
May
the
I
tweet.
challenge this point?
Yeah, of course. I'd love you to challenge it.
Because the same country who
One,
had the
two, three,
BLM riots,
four.
the same country who stood against Vietnam, and the same country who stood against the Iraq War, this same country, again, we've seen a microsome of what they can do in colleges, which is the most vibrant, most active, most useful, most energetic places in the United States. University campus. And we have seen what happens to those young kids. They were vilified in the media, they were ridiculed, they were belittled, they had their careers. Some of them were shot. I have a friend of mine, Palestinian, he and two of his friends were shot, and now he's paralyzed from waist down. He's in all because he wasn't even one of the protesters. He was wearing a keffiyeh and he was speaking Arabic. So if America, with all its might, can crack down on the most free spots in the United States, which is the universities, and we didn't. Do you hear anything about the university right? It took them like 2 months and they killed it.
Yeah.
What would prevent them from going door to door? It's going to be very, very small, and then they're going to get bigger. Because 3 years ago, you wouldn't think that they would have paid mercenary militias in American streets. 3 years ago, you wouldn't think that there were like a university encampment where like they would be destroyed and demolished, and people will not have any chance in hell to even work in Silicon Valley because they're all blacklisted. So what I'm saying is, we've been saying this for the past 8 years since Trump got office in 2016. It will never happen. We'll never go that far. But it's happening.
I'm not saying that it would never go this far. It has gone very far. I'm please. I'm banned from Australia. I mean, I have seen what
How
they're
can they ban you
willing to
from
do.
Australia?
Their whole thing is to bankrupt you too. The
You
lawfare.
have the same danger as horses going into Australia. Oh my God!
I know, it's crazy. It's completely crazy.
They know that they ban horses from their Olympics.
Yeah,
You know, they have to play the horse.
It's incredible. I'm banned from an entire country over standing up for Palestinians, children, innocent Palestinian life, because we have to believe that Palestinians are animals or they'll ruin your life. I just think that it has worked in the opposite regard, and I think even military men, right? So you're right. It relies on the military being willing to execute the orders. Well, I'm having a conversation with these guys in the military, and now they're waking up to what sits at the top of the military. Because the corruption's always at the top. These men are amazing people that sign up. You know, then we're starting to go backwards. We're looking at the fact that, after LBJ, you put in some satanic people to run psychological operations. Those people, of course, will go door to door and kill people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Americans.
But there's also a lot of third world countries in general that will not participate. And you know what the leader does? He will replace them. He will put people in their place who will do what he wants.
There's a lot of Americans.
And there's a lot of
psychotic Americans.
I don't know. Maybe I'm too optimistic, but I see them losing right now because they're reacting like an animal backed into a corner. And I'm not saying it's not going to get worse first.
Okay, here's the thing. You have 98% of Congress and the Senate.
That's just a bunch of...
Yeah, but those bunch of... They are the one who writing the laws. They are the one who write a law that says that they can take $28 billion or $30 billion from your tax money and give it to a different country. So those people, they're
stealing.
They're stealing, but they are all bought by those lobbies. So what I'm saying is, if you buy enough people to control the government, you can buy enough people to turn the government to do something that the people here doesn't want. Because there's a huge separation now between the political and the media elite and the rest of the people. Thousands of people marching, but up there, the money is going somewhere else. And I'm just saying that it's not that far.
I'm optimistic. I know it sounds crazy. It probably doesn't sound crazy. I think in the end, God wins. I think they were clever. They've done a lot of stuff in the dark. They've kind of but the awareness,
Which God will win?
The God is going to win, and I do think part of it was the awareness. They needed the spell. Like, BB believed, we've got power, we've got politicians, we've got this, we've got we could take the guns, we can move all this, we can traffic children, nobody blinks an eye, we got Epstein out, all of this stuff. But it did rely on the trick of the illusion. And I think they underestimated how much relied on the illusion, and that's why they're panicking about Gen Z, because that's the future. And there's a lot of people, and would they, if they could mass kill everybody in this country? Yeah, they would. I believe these people are psychopaths. Like I said, watching their reaction to the Palestinians and what they've done to people for saying the right thing, like this Rachel shows you that there's no life in these people. This is the synagogue of Satan. The people that stand up and say that's fine they're satanic. I genuinely wonder what happened to them when they were kids.
Maybe we don't need.
And I think they were brainwashed.
Maybe we need an exorcism.
We do actually. We do need an exorcism. I do believe that. I do also think that it's sex based trauma. I think a lot of these people, just on my research into Sigmund Freud, a lot of these people, when I see the way they react, they knew that they could create psychopaths by abusing kids in their youth. And I do think that a lot of these people behave like they are mind control slaves. Like they're trauma-based mind control. And because I may cover some of my book club, but they showed that harming a child and what the child will do to try to rationalize why this happened to them and I'm not saying this happens to every person, then sets them on a path to become a psychopath when they don't understand why someone in their family would do something like that to them. And I look at some of these people, I have no other excuse. Your humanity should come online at some point, and you say this is wrong, and they don't. Some are being guided by money, some by blackmail, but the true psychopaths that you look at, where they will just lie to your face all the time, and I'm like, something happened to you when you were a child, and I'm sorry. And part of that was you truly believing.
What did you think happened to Ben Shapiro when he was a child?
Combination of things with him. I would love to know. I would sit down and ask him these questions. It's just not normal. Because he fixates. That's what makes me nervous about him. Is there's an obsession. He fixates. He can't let it go. He can't. He's been so fixated on Tucker Carlson. Even when I was at Daily Wire, it's like you would think, and Tucker never ever spoke about him. Never while I was there. It's a fixation, and there is a neuroticism there. And I don't know what happened to him, but I know he's got like a very too close relationship with his dad. Like his dad follows him to every job. No, No, I actually think it's his dad's always with him, working with him at all times, at every job, follows him, tells him he's amazing. Like, so
that's
it's
why
different.
I'm so sorry, Ben. I'm so sorry I hurt your feeling. I didn't know that you went through that.
But his dad's apparently very angry, and so there's
I'm
a
sorry,
lot.
Mr. Shapiro.
But I do think they're brainwashed too. Like they actually don't realize that they will, like, hell is real. It's real. Like you will go to hell.
What I said on Piers Morgan about is dealing with his narcissistic psychopath.
Yeah.
Narcissistic psychopaths are genuinely sick people.
1, 2, 3,
The
4.
world revolves around them. They cannot do no wrong. They would gaslight you into telling you what's not in front of you. They're not going to engage in conversation. They will only engage in conversation to wear you down and piss you off. One of the interviews that I went on by Piers Morgan, they brought someone called Jonathan Kornikis, who was like the ex-IDF spokesman. And out of nowhere, it's like there's no famine in Gaza. There's so many videos of fat Palestinians, and he emphasized on the fat. He knows that by him saying this, is like, how could you say that? They want to trick you into getting under your skin. So now the conversation is not about what's happening in Gaza. It's about like what I've just said. And then they're masters in doing that, trolling them. See all of their conversation, all of their debates. Their point, the whole thing is to them making you lose control and lose your temper.
And that is
So
why I
they would
try to
divert
teach
the
you guys how to
conversation
be
into something.
unfuckwithable.
It's
If
their
people
brain.
can't piss you off, if people
Yeah,
can't
you're
troll
absolutely
you,
right. And
then
And they
you
don't care about
can't,
the truth.
like,
They care about confusion.
no one can get to you.
They always ask the question, if you have like a campus where you have 10% of pro-Palestinian and 10% pro-Israeli, what do you do to the other 80%? And the wrong answer is, I'm going to try to convince the 80% with my cause. It's like, no, their answer is, you try to confuse the other 80.
yeah.
Just give whatever like mantras, whatever like sound bites, just like to throw at the situation to divert the conversation. This is what they do.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like master manipulation, and I came out of it, so I realize now.
But welcome back.
Yeah.
This is kind of like rehab.
Yeah, well, I wasn't. It's funny. I was never like I was not there speaking about the topic of Israel, but I did believe that where I was working were real media companies that were dedicated to free markets and capitalism, and that these were my allies in that sense, and defending free speech. And so there is something that's scary when you go, oh my gosh, how could I not have realized
This
that?
is going to look like
I was kind of being used, that they can pretend they're this thing, but actually the only thing that matters is this one thing, which is like
birthday
Israel
cake,
and serving Israel.
icing.
So it's been a
The
lot to
sprinkles.
process that, but I'm grateful I was blinded to it, because it gave me almost a superpower to come up through it.
If you
I
look
now know how the tricks work.
where-
I know who these people are. I know who they're connected to. I know who they're communicating with.
It's
I know
kind of
what
hard to
locations
see it
they're
still because
speaking
there's
to.
not really
I
enough
can see
rows
the
yet. I
hand
kind of
of,
want to make you
oh,
wait.
this,
I'm gonna make you
Marissa
wait.
at PragerU, who I adored when I worked for her. I'm like,
Yep,
oh,
I
this is a
definitely
Marissa
snore.
thing. And so I think God wanted me blinded for that time, and so now when I'm telling the story about Charlie, even it has so much more weight. I'm telling the public, no, this is what was going on. This is who put this person in this organization. This is who he was arguing with. So it kind of, in many ways, I had to go through all of it. Otherwise, I'm just like throwing opinions at the wall, and it represents an existential threat to these organizations to go, okay, no, but she came from the inside. She's not
exactly.
just.
That's why you and Charlie and all of the people who starting to flip you are more dangerous like someone like me, because he's an Arab, he's a Muslim. He already
did 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11.
Passed into 9/11.
Of course I did.
It was your passport.
Yes, I had to get a new one. Damn. You know the whole thing about the passport. There was like a bombing attack in Paris, 2015, and you can Google this, by the way. You just Google Syrian passport Stade de France, because also there was like a huge, like I don't know, like 50 people were killed by machine guns, and they conveniently found passports for Syrian people in Paris. What kind of very organized, meticulous, like oh, here it is, a Syrian passport found near a suicide bomber at November 2015. And it's just like boom.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, never mind. We don't have to. It was done by the Palestinians. Tyler Robinson.
Yes.
He just left this really big clue.
What kind of very organized got together, like terrorists who just like goes to all of these
Oh,
operations.
come on. The best laid plans,
Like,
you know?
I mean, this is my last operation because I'm gonna die after that. So I better get my passport so I don't lose my way to the 72 verses in heaven. It just it becomes so
Ridiculous.
comical. I don't know.
The
No, what's
jokes
interesting
write
actually
themselves.
is this background, which we haven't gotten to my podcast, but looking into the Charlie Kirk thing and these Egyptian planes that were tracking him and Turning Point USA faith events, was that the fake names, the real names on these passports, it's interesting how many are Palestinian, which is like, I'm convinced these were Israeli planes. That's why they're panicking about it. Like, obviously, like, we all know Egypt, the whole thing, they're running stuff through Egypt, obviously. But yeah,
as a
there,
Egyptian,
I
I
was
have
like,
no
oh, this is
idea.
interesting. This person died in Palestine, and this exact full name is one of the passports. I got the list of every Egyptian name that's on this.
They
and
always hide behind other
it's
identities.
Palestinians. I'm like, did you know this? By the way, a bunch of Palestinians were apparently in Provo the day that you
Oh yeah, I mean this is where Palestinians have
Get excited! You guys should help me. The
they-
Zion Islami help me. Did I? They're Palestinians. They did it.
I'm actually I'm actually happy that like my life led me to actually live the American dream. I'm actually very happy. I'm a proud American, by the way. I got my passport 6 years ago, and I'm happy that I've established my American dream to finally come here, live in America, work my ass off, pay my taxes to sponsor Israel. That is my dream, because this is how, and it's funny because in the third world country, we used to that kind of control that happens after an invasion. We didn't even have to be invaded.
No.
It's more administrative. Like you don't need tanks or planes. All you need is a couple of fundraiser dinners.
You have to shoot JFK.
No, fundraiser dinners.
You have to shoot
We'll
JFK
get
and then
enough
say
money.
one person did it, and then get all your boys into the military, and that's how America was taken over. Obviously. And then just get a bunch of homosexual men to go to DC, catch them on the apps, Lindsey Graham, and then, I mean, whatever they've got on Lindsey Graham.
Oh, my
and
little.
he's like
Do you guys
terrifying
ever
this
hear
for Israel. It's like,
about
we got
the
right now. It's like his file. Terrifies
Lindsey
me.
Graham
That file,
and
he just
his
are like-
little
and he
ladybugs?
just freaks out. He's like, I love you so much, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever they have on Lindsey Graham, it's scary. By the way, how about we never got the answer to which congressman was
Holly,
sleeping
how many
with
times
that
do I
young
have to
male
block
internal
you
somebody
where
working in
you
the
have
office
to create
on the
new
congressional floor? Do you remember
accounts
this?
Yeah.
They wiped
so
this
that you
away.
can come into
That's
my
how
space?
Israeli blackmail files are created.
Who's
They've got
the person, like, who's, like, really? Like, you're a fucking stalker. It's so fucking weird. Not only that, but if I'm listening to something that you don't want to listen to, you know what's crazy is it's literally the least amount of effort. It's literally people who are quadriplegic can do all what you need to do, which is just go, whoop. You could use your nose and swipe. So, nobody's here fucking for you. Nobody wants to see you. No one wants to talk to you or hang out with you. If they did, you'd be in your own live stream chat, having people in there chatting with you, instead of trying to come into mine where you know there are always interesting people that you can suck the life from, or at least attempt to. Choke on a fucking dick.
story. We have no idea. This happened in a congressional building on the congressional floor, and we have no answers as to what that was actually about.
Yes.
Who was the congressman on the other side of that?
And it's funny, like how when everybody's talking about Epstein, I'm like, you cannot say like, oh, nobody's talking about Epstein. Everybody talks about Epstein, comedy shows, whatever, but they never talk about the very obvious connection with a foreign intelligence. You see, like, open ABC, Epstein, NBC, Epstein, CNN, Epstein, Comedy Central, Epstein, but they never talk about the Israeli connection.
Well,
it's there, right in
what do
front
you
of
mean?
you.
He was Hamas.
Yeah, he was-
That's when they'll start talking about it. As soon as we work through, it turned out actually that
Yeah.
he was working for Hamas.
Oh yeah, like he was indicted 2008, and he was allowed to go to Israel during his
Yes,
his
that's what's
trial.
coming next.
He just like happens to go to Israel, and then he will come back.
That's why they put Barry West CBS. That's what's
Yeah.
coming. They're working on that narrative. They just have to figure it out. And it's like, it is the most despicable thing. That was, for me, done with Trump. As soon as he said what Epstein files, easiest way to lose me as to talk about the children. If we can't defend the children, what kind of a nation are we? If we as a country turn away when we know children are being abused, and then I started to realize, oh, that's the name of the game. Like, that's what the CIA is doing. They are trafficking human beings. This is what they are involved in, and we're all kind of waking up to that spell, and then they have us arguing with each other, left versus right. And that's why I'm like, are you team God or are you team Satan? And it's actually kind of shocking how many people are team Satan. I will say that.
Away from God and Satan, I'm someone. I'm a prime example of someone who, when I got the day I got the American, I remember the day that I had my Pledge of Allegiance, 2019, December 2019. I remember that day I was so happy, not just because of becoming American citizen. The first thing that they give you, as a new American citizen, they give you the form to write down your information for the passport, and the second form they give you is your voting registration. And it's like, this is my first thing as an American, because I was there on a green card legally for 5 years, and I could only vote in local elections, but not in the general elections. And I was so proud of, oh, now I can vote. It took me 4 years to completely be disenfranchised from the voting operations. Like, there's no point.
There's no point.
Because this is what the right and left do. They would kill each other, slit each other's throat over everything. Immigration, healthcare, open borders, closed borders, the wall, militarization, everything. But everybody will compete to be Israel's favorite bitch. So now there's no point. If you are like a 50-50 of everything, and you're only 100% on this one thing, there's something fundamentally wrong with it.
I agree.
There's something fundamentally wrong with this.
I guess you could say my red line was the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Yeah.
I'm like, if Charlie Kirk get killed in broad daylight and our states are colluding to cover it, there's only one state that would have that kind of power to make them collude to cover it. Okay.
Yeah.
There's only one state in the world. Okay. Who's involved? All you have to know is Israel's involved because it's a cover-up. That's it. There's only one nation that would be involved. You got Bibi calling him. Everyone's lying about it. They're pretending. I mean, Bibi going on a press tour immediately after to say, I did not
We
kill
did not
Charlie Kirk. I didn't kill. Whoa, buddy. We haven't even. And Trump drops the tweet with him hugging the Israeli flag. They were so obvious. It was like even no one had a thought that you did anything until you started saying you didn't do it.
And
He loved us. We didn't kill him.
And I just want to talk to the people watching this, especially like America First people. It's forget Israel, forget everything. I'm just sick and tired that like my hard-earned money is going to sponsor the lifestyles of Israel. You have free education, free housing, free healthcare.
And Ukraine, by the way, because that's where they're actually from. They're from Ukraine.
Exactly. But like I'm working for the benefits of someone else in a different country, and this is what. And now we have the homelessness. We have the problem with healthcare. And I say America is not poor. The problem with America that it lacks self-respect. We are being like pushed around like this is some sort of BDSM economics, where basically we're sponsoring them, but for somehow we are their bitch. This is like dominatrix kind of level of like like slap my ass and take my money kind of thing.
Yeah, Trump pulling out the chair for Bibi is like symbolic of everything.
It's just like I don't know about evangelical Christians who are used to that kind of humiliation, saying that like you're not even gonna be good enough as those people. But come on, have some self-respect. Yeah, it just pains me.
Yeah, and I say that about.
I immigrated for this.
Yeah, well, that's look at even the drop in testosterone over the years. That's intentional. The mass poisoning of men, the water. Oh, that's a fact.
Do you think now Americans are flaccid because of Israel?
Genuinely, we are facing the testosterone crisis, as I call it. I mean, because the stuff they're putting in our water, the stuff they're putting in our food, and over time, what that's done is we do have too many theatrical boys that really want to go to DC because they want to be on stage. They want to go into media because they want to be on stage. And this is my, and I know that you disagree with this because you're more on the left. I think that none of that stuff means anything.
Yes.
But this is my ultimate contention with the pushing of the LGBTQ narrative is I see the more nefarious thing. They do not want the kind of people that are going to stand up. They want everybody obsessed with objects and buying stuff and the men doing their
No,
makeup.
it's about identity politics. It's not whether it's the LGBTQ, whether it's just like
the attack on manhood is significant.
They want to attack. They want people just like having all of these fights between.
But the masculinity is what they hate the most. True masculinity is what they True masculinity is what they hate the most. The kind of guy that's going to stand up and defend for his family. That's what I'm speaking about when I say we cannot have this. They are telling men it is wrong to be men. It's like they hate masculinity. Full stop. You can be anything you want, but don't be a man.
It's so low T vibes.
It's low T. It's so low T. That's why I say everything is fake and gay. We're gonna I know you guys have a bunch of questions for him. We're gonna take a quick break to throw it to some of our sponsors, and then I'll answer some of these questions. All right, you guys, let's speak about credit for a second, because nobody really teaches you how to build it. And if your credit score is low or non-existent, it can feel impossible to fix. That's where Kickoff comes in. Kickoff is designed to help you build credit safely and simply without taking on debt or stressing over complicated rules. Users with credit under 600 grew an average of 25 points in their first month with on-time payments. With transparent, affordable plans
This
starting at
is
just $5
so
a month,
hard
no hidden
to
fees, and
teach
zero
my
interest,
hands how
Kickoff
to
helps you
do.
score big
This
when
is
it
fucking
comes to
some
credit. It's
serious,
simple.
like,
You make on-time
I can't believe I
payments.
decided to
Credit
take
bureaus
this
see
on.
good behavior,
I'm
and
making
your
a
credit can grow
sweater,
fast.
yoke
With the
sweater.
premium or ultimate
Basically,
plan,
like,
the rent reporting
I made,
feature
this is,
helps you build
let me show you the
credit with
first thing I
rent.
ever made. I never knit before this. So I made this shirt. You can see the stitches up close. So yeah, I had never knit before I made this. There's lots of mistakes in here because I didn't use a pattern. I just kind of just went through it intuitively so that I could kind of just see. Did my propane go out? No, it's just really low. I think I'm gonna turn my heat up. But yeah, but this time I'm using a pattern. I also went and bought really good yarn. I used cheap yarn for that. This isn't really good yarn. This is really good compared to anything I've ever bought before. But this is not really good. But it is really good for me. It's really, and this is the contrast color. It's like a white spiral with a rainbow. But the funny thing is this totally by accident. I accidentally got the exact colors that are on this fucking thing. Totally by accident. Didn't mean to do that. But I told the lady, I was like, my whole house is basically those colors though. Be right back. I gotta go pee, turn the heat up. Come and knock on the door. Waiting for you. Something, something, and his and hers, three is company. Ooh. Oh shit. Fucking pads, bruh. I'm a hippie, so I don't use anything you can fucking buy. I use reusable cotton cloth that you bleach. And it's annoying. All of it is annoying just in general. Periods suck. Yeah, my bus is nice. It's very cozy. And it's like super, now the heat's coming in all nice. I got this fan under my bed, so it's starting to get moist and humid in here because the fan broke that usually lives under my bed. So I'm putting the kibosh on that right away. And so I put a box fan under my bed, and it's like blowing all under my bed. My bed is about, I don't know, 4 feet off the ground. I have to step on a thing to get onto my bed. Otherwise, it's a pain in the ass. I'm 5'3". But anyway, so a fan is blowing under the bed, circulating that, fixing that situation. The heat is kicked up. So between the heat, the dehumidifier, and this fan moving the air around, it's nice and toasty warm. It can't be snowing. It can't be that cold out. I got this one strain that's like a blue cheese, I guess. I know it's an accident. I thought he said blueberry. I usually don't buy cheesy. But this time I accidentally bought it. And you know what? It tastes exactly like fresh celery and blue cheese. But in like the best way possible. Like truly. That's what it tastes like. You know, the Willy Wonka guy really was onto something. Sure, Jeff. My Cash App is Subliminal Locks. Knock yourself out. I'm kind of too old to bother with removing tattoos, so. I'm already a middle-aged woman. Dude, it's literally gonna look like a fucking cake with like the cake with sprinkles inside of it or whatever. It's gonna look exactly like the cake. 100%. It's gonna look like that, man. It's gonna look like the cake does when it has the sprinkles baked into it and they turn into like just little, what is it called? Confetti. Confetti. It's gonna look like confetti cake. That's what this is gonna look like. I can see it already. I'm so fucking excited. What was I doing? Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've officially mastered my tension, and I've officially figured out how to hold 2 pieces of string at the same time. Now I'm currently in the process of mastering, I mean, I've already got it pretty good, but my tension, I'm keeping tension even between the 2 strands. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Confetti, it's gonna look like confetti cake, look. Oh, do you see the color peeking just right there at the very top? And like how it's just like blending in perfectly. It just looks like confetti. That's what it's gonna look like. It's gonna look like confetti cake. You see the pink? It's gonna look like confetti cake. I'm really excited about this. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then color, and then 1. 2. I'm also figuring out very quickly how to hide all of my floats in the back so that you don't have these big, huge gaps. Like, it's tacked down pretty consistently. You can see the lines that go here in the back, like the inside of the sweater will have these lines, but they're tacked down, believe it or not. So like they're not really, but I'm figuring out over the course of this my first row was the worst, the wonkiest, the one all the way to the left. And then as you get closer to here, you see that it's tacked down very good. Like as far as I'm figuring it out as I go. Listen, I went to the knitting store and spoke to the owner of the store. She's like a knitting expert. Obviously, she owns a fucking knitting or supply store. Like it's all knitting stuff and crochet stuff. It's wool, needles, you know, it's not like a full hobby store. It's just fiber and fiber craft tools. So she's an expert. Anyways, she took my thing that I made and she held it up and she was like, you made this without a pattern? And she's like, this is your first thing you've ever made? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, we have a genius on our hands. And she was like, can I show this off? And she was showing it off to everyone in the store and was like, she was looking at me and she's like, you're like a knitting savant. Like, this is incredible. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, anyways, I don't understand. So like, I'm trying to remind myself that what I'm doing right now is like advanced knitting. What I'm doing right now, like this is something that someone would normally be doing after they've been knitting for years and years and years and years and years. But I just skipped all that and just went straight to the hardest stuff, because if I can master this, I could do anything, right? But anyways, I couldn't believe it. I was just very shocked. And she even was looking at my stitches and how my stitches are all uniform and even and have, you know, the correct tension. And I pointed out where I made my mistakes and she showed me like, yeah, you're correct. Like she was like, wow, you know, and you even see where you know, I understand where I went wrong. And I told her, I was like, it's crazy because normally my brain doesn't show me like finished pictures. Like I can't just envision something what it will look like normally, but with knitting, I can literally picture what it's gonna look like. I could probably I could design my own patterns as of right now, but like I just don't want to. So I'm just gonna stick to this. I'm gonna try and get them, like the thing that I don't have that other like years long knitters do have is muscle memory and speed. So it's gonna take me super long time because I don't have the muscle memory yet And it takes a really long time to develop that kind of muscle memory. So, you know, that's something that I'll have to develop over time as we go. There's just nothing I can do about it. So I have to trust that slow gets me there, you know, eventually. What do you mean, do I believe in Sasquatch? These are my knitting net caps. Is my roof leaking? It sure fucking is. God damn it. I gotta go set up the water collection. The roof is leaking. Oh, I guess it's not leaking. Oh, it's gonna. I'm just gonna move you guys over a couple inches because you're like right where the water drips. My nose is dripping Flonase. So much liquid. Okay. I need to figure out how to make it so that I can. Yeah, I caught that fucking twisted stitch. How the hell did that even happen? One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotcha, bitch. Finally. This fruit fly has been flying around my house for like, oh, I hope I didn't just put that shit on my fucking tongue. This fruit fly has been flying around the house for the last like 2 days, and I couldn't find it, or I couldn't catch it, smash it. One, two, three, four. Yatch. Get in there. Come on, butthole. Get between those two pieces of yarn. Oh, come on. You guys have never hung out before, and now suddenly you can't get enough of each other? Come on. Seriously. Can't rush greatness. One, two, three, four. Guys, I'm gonna have to switch this over to TikTok. Because it is Xena Warrior Princess time. Hello, hello. I'm not a president. I don't support our president. I'm not a MAGA. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna skedaddle. I'm gonna switch over to Tiki-Taki. Aw, bummer. Yeah, I gotta watch Xena. I can't do anything copywritten over here.